So, welcome to Leading Talks. This is a compendium of interviews designed for existing leaders and potential leaders, entrepreneurs, people who have visions, but they're not sure how to bring them about, and or are concerned that maybe they don't have the ability to make things happen. And so I've brought together some amazing people, some amazing experts who are entrepreneurs, who are existing leaders, who have been leaders, some psychologists, some coaches, all of whom come together to share this hugely important, I believe and hope, body of knowledge, which is for you if you are a leader who is stuck and doesn't know how to take the next step. Now, in this wonderful interview, I'm delighted to introduce someone who I hope I can call my friend. I haven't known him for very long, just over a year. His name is Wiktor Doktor, and he's president of Pro Progressio. And he's a really exceptional entrepreneur. And when I got to hearing about his story, I wanted him to join me in this conversation and talk us through what happened on his journey and how he got through the various hurdles, because he has a lot of value to offer. So, Wiktor, welcome to Leading Talks.
Hi, Ashim. Thank you very much for this invitation. And yes, I think we can call each other friends. And although this is just a year plus something of our relationship, business relationship, which we created over a year ago. And thank you very much. I am looking very much to this talk.
Great, thank you. I know, one thing that struck me in one of our conversations not so long ago, you said that you hated holidays, public holidays, because it meant that you had to stop work. And I thought to myself, my God, that's passion, right? That's kind of drive. And the thing is that you have this passion, you spend all this energy, but at the same time, you look happy. There is a joy which tells me that passion isn't draining you, it's energizing you. Would you describe it like that?
I think yes, and even quoting this, what you said, yes, I did say that I hate the public holidays because they, in Poland especially, are fixed to certain dates, not to weekends or like to Mondays, like in the UK, for example. So we've got a list of such public holidays which sometimes appear on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and so on and so on. And from purely business perspective, they ruin the whole week. So it may sound that I am like a workaholic or something like that. No, it is not in this case. It is rather on the business continuity and on this how we as people are engaging in various business things, business relations, business projects. So from one side, I do hate the public holidays. From the other side, of course, I do take days off whenever I need to recharge my batteries and spend some time with my family. And this is something what all of us should do.
No, absolutely, yeah. Thanks for clarifying that, Wiktor, because you I completely understand. You're in the flow, as they say. You're in the middle of doing something, and then suddenly you have to take a pause for a day or two because of the public holiday, and that kind of disrupts that. But let's start with Pro Progressio. Can you're president of this organization, this Pro Progressio Club. Tell us what it does and what you do.
So maybe a little bit of background. 13 years ago, counting from the day when we are recording this podcast, I was still working for big corporations, for big international companies. And it was all my previous life, starting in the late 90s, going to the 2012. That was the year, so 13 years ago. But within all of my, let's say, corpo life, I have found out a lot of ideas, things, connections, areas which are important for various businesses, and especially for the business which we now name around the world business services. So my previous jobs were mostly related to the BPO or the shared service areas, and I have noticed a number of areas which are important for various companies. but there was no single entity on the market who could take care of those areas. One of them was communication, the other media, third building relationship between each other, organizing some events, and so on and so on. So putting all of this together with my brother and my wife initially, now she is doing something else, but I am still running this business together with my brother, so it's like a family business. We have created the idea of building Pro Progressio. And Pro Progressio, we can name that this is like an ecosystem for companies who are building a relationship based on products or services in B2B model. And this was the origin. So within those 13 years, we have created a couple of things which are combined together. One of them is this, what you mentioned, so Pro Progressio Club, which is an environment for companies who are the members of our club, and all of them are either providing services or products in the B2B model. Secondly, we are the owner, the administrator of Focus on Business platform. This is a portal which we run in Polish and in English, and every day we do share business information to a lot of users of this platform. Thirdly, we are also an organization who organizes events, small networking ones and big international know-how sharing events, like the most recent one, Follow the Leaders, which you were also present on that. So this is like a combination of various initiatives which can help other businesses to either build their networks, grow information about this, what they do, build new relationships, or just get familiar with the most recent updates, either from local market or from the international market. And a part of it are also my podcasts, which I record with people from Poland and from abroad, just to share the best ideas, to uncover some ideas or things which we are just not aware in the local markets. So I don't know if it replies to your question, but basically this is like a huge ecosystem with a number of tools which can be used by companies who we build relationship with.
Wonderful. Yes, you more than answer my question, and at the same time, you raise more questions in my mind. Let's go back. You started with 13 years ago. You were in paid employment. You were in the business process outsourcing or shared service environment, and you identified gaps. I think many people would kind of relate to that, right? They're in the corporate environment, as employees, and they say, well, why isn't somebody doing X, Y, Z? Because it seems to you to be such an obvious thing to do. But you actually did more than think about it. You did something about it. You took that step, moved away from the security of a full-time job and a regular salary, and took the risk. What was going through your mind at that time?
So first of all, I think two things were in parallel. One of them was, yes, I was afraid. You can always fail in this, what you do. But from the other hand, if you see that this will bring good results, not only for yourself, but also for other people or for other companies who you clearly see that they do need this kind of support, this was something what I put on the table. And of course, there were nice months, there were worse months, and so on and so on. And I would be very unclear saying that from the very beginning everything was nice, brilliant, and giving me, for example, money from those projects which I was starting doing. Actually, the first year was really bad, to be honest. If I recall the first year of being on my own and starting doing what I am doing and convincing people that this is something what is bringing some kind of value, this was really, really bad year. After this first year, everything started to be going much better and better. And of course, there were later in line of time better and worse days. But answering purely to your questions, first, it was a big afraid. Yeah, if I can do it, if people will understand what I want to do, if I will build the trust in the market, if how long I can live without having a month-to-month salary payment, and so on and so on. So there were those kind of ideas in my head. But from the other, the hope of doing something right, which was well analyzed before. So it wasn't like coming with an idea with no preparation. Yeah, I did have a lot of talks, a lot of checks, if somebody is doing this, if people are needing this kind of support, and so on and so on. So this created the situation that I was convinced that yes, I can do it, yeah, and yes, the market needs it. And after those 13 years, I can say that, come on, if it wouldn't work, I wouldn't be probably in the place where I am now.
Right. I mean, this is really interesting, because one thing that you hear quite a lot is, it's not important what you think the market needs. What's important is what the market tells you it needs, or
Yes.
what you ask them they need, or what you see as clear gaps that they are looking for. And that's, I think that's a trap that many entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs fall into, because they say, well, they have wonderful imaginations, they have wonderful visions, and they say, I think the market needs this, and they take the leap without asking anyone else. Would you agree that's a risk?
Asking questions is a key. And this, what we have in our minds, creating new tools, new ideas, new processes, and so on, is something, okay, great to have. And of course, we can be initiators of various ideas. But if there is no demand on that, if nobody is thinking about this, if nobody is even getting more interested after sharing some kind of ideas, then it doesn't make sense. So this, what we did before we started Pro Progressio, and now on our everyday basis with everything what we do, is based on asking questions to our close business partners, but also openly to the market. And the wider those questions are being asked, the bigger cloud of answers you receive. It is helping you to either go with your idea, or tune it somehow, or change it, or just resign, because market may not be ready for some of the ideas, even if they are brilliant. Yeah, let's take a look on great people on our planet who created their products or services where nobody understand them in the very beginning, and now people go to space, people dive deep in the oceans, people climb on the mountains, people create things in our mobile devices which are changing our world. And in the very beginning, nobody was understanding it. When I was starting my career, I was working in bank, in one of the Polish banks. In the times in the late 90s, where there were ATMs introduced to Polish market. And I remember hard talks with banks and with people that ATM, what is that? We want to have cash from the cash desks and so on and so on. No one understood such simple thing like ATM. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, we are living in times when sooner or later we will not need even ATMs. This era is again behind us because we have some cash sharing or access to our money via the mobile devices and so on and so on. And the same thing is with all of the ideas. You need to ask the market. Sometimes you need to brave to go ahead, but you need to see what kind of stops you may find during this entering the market. And sometimes it may be delayed in time. The ideas of creating Pro Progressio, probably they took us like over a year to identify if we really want to do it. Yeah, so yes, first asking questions, then tuning a little bit what you wanted to do, and then going to the market.
Understood. That's wonderful. Very valuable information. Always ask questions and adjust as necessary. Now, another hurdle that many potential entrepreneurs have is, but it takes money to start up a business. How am I? Who am I going to rely on? Who do I get to believe enough in me and my idea to invest in me? So how did you handle that hurdle?
This is absolutely great question. And yes, of course, doing something on your own requires some funding. So in our case, it was our own money, which we have invested in this, what we wanted. So we did have some money, which we secured earlier on for several months ahead, just having in mind that it may just not work. Yeah, so we wanted to be secure with this, just with one of the idea that if it doesn't work, okay, we come back to the normal corporate life, and this is secure. We people who were with us from the very beginning, they are experienced in some areas. So each of us probably would take better or worse job after anyway. Yeah, but yes, in the very beginning, you need to have some secure situation, or you need to go to the market. And then, answering to your question, I would start, and this is what we started in the very beginning, as I name it, friends and family. Yeah. So first of all, you go to your closest, either business or personal contacts, and just share with them the ideas, asking them again questions. Yeah, if this is something what they understand, if this is something what they would take, what do they need if such kind of thing is going to be released to the market, and so on and so on. And then it's building a chain of contacts. So starting with the closest relatives, asking them to open the doors to another's and another's and another's. And yes, this is very active period of starting the business, because in the very beginning, you don't have a huge team. Those are sometimes 1-2 people around you who can either help you, or sometimes you are just on your own to do something, to convince people to this what you want to do. But then building the trust, showing that you know what you want to do, showing that those are the benefits people can get of working with you. This is building the next steps and the next strategy, and so on and so on. So yes, in the very beginning it is tough. Yes, you need to have some kind of a secured funds for starting the business. But if you are really delivering something what the market needs, then the funds are just growing and are coming, and you just share the first invoices which people are paying.
Right. I mean, that's wonderful advice, of course. And you know, plan ahead. You know, put some money aside. Talk to your family and friends. Get out there and talk to people. Get people to buy into your idea and invest in your future business. It's a really powerful, and I think answers questions that many potential entrepreneurs have. Now, a couple of times just now, Wiktor, you talked about teams. You mentioned your brother, you mentioned your wife who used to be with you. Who else was there, and how did you build up your team? I mean, you know, of course, I have met members of your team, and what really impresses me about all of them is how enthusiastic and energetic they all are. And it's great to see. I think most leaders of teams, you know, would want exactly what you have. So talk us through how you found the members of your team, and then how they bought into your idea so passionately.
So in the very beginning, those were just us. So this was me, my brother, and my wife who started doing everything. So we didn't want to have huge costs, because again, at some time you need to buy the services from the market, if we name it such purely businessly. You just need to do it. But then once starting and making next steps, we have created the team. And now, 2 ways. The one way is to use the best possible partners around you. So we can name it outsourcing, or just building business relationships, and so on and so on. There are a lot of wise people all around us who either have their contacts, or have some kind of skills, or have some tools which you can use, and you are just buying their time, you are just buying their experience, and just use it to grow your own business. Of course, you need to do it wisely, just not to burn the money, but just use whatever you need in the very beginning, and then based on that, just grow and grow and grow. So firstly, using the external services. You don't need to have your own costs in the very beginning just to start doing something. Yeah. So I would say that this was one direction. And the second direction is that, of course, if the business grows, you need some people on board. And those people you select very carefully. First of all, understanding your business. From the very beginning, when we were creating ProProgressio, we didn't want to have employees as employees. We wanted people who understand what we do, because we don't sell products. We don't sell services. We don't sell whatever thing you can count. We create relationships. Our business is based on relationships, and our business is based on know-how. So people who understood and still understand this what we do, and it is in line with their own business ethics, it is in line with this what they want to do on a daily basis, they are creating our team. So I would say you need to believe in the place where you go. But I believe it should be like an idea for any type of business where you are involving, even in the corporations. If you don't like the product of the company who is serving, why to work for such company? If you don't like the scope of job which you are given, so why to do this job? So it took us some time to, of course, with every person who was joining our team to understand. If they understand what we do, if they like what we do, if they have the same ethics of work, and once we found this kind of group of people, then we are a very stable team. Yeah, and this is how it works.
Yeah, again, great advice, and something that you said that particularly struck me. If you don't know where you're going as an organization, if you don't know, what you're doing, then what are you doing there? But when I run my leadership training programs, I often ask my audience, and many of them come from very large companies, I say, what is your organization's vision? Raise your hands if you know your organization's vision. And Victor, to be honest, so few people do. They've never even bothered to look it up. And actually, it's not their fault. It's not their responsibility. It's the organization's responsibility to communicate them, to get them to buy into that vision, to get them on board, and so on. And surprisingly, perhaps, with even very large organizations, people don't. The other thing you mentioned, which is vitally important, is that you need to do your role because you engage with it. It means something to you. You feel that you're adding value. And again, many large organizations don't give feedback, for example, to their staff and say, hey, listen, this is great. This is what you're doing. We love what you're creating for us and how you're supporting us. Doesn't matter how junior they are, everyone is moving in the same direction. So it's really great that you pointed those things out, because they are fundamental to team commitment. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely. In our day-to-day life, we have such a practice. Okay, just to clarify to everybody, we are not a huge team. There are less than 10 people working for Pro Progressio. So this is like a smaller department in a bigger corporations. But anyway, the rules should be the same for smaller and for the bigger. When it comes to the know-how sharing, building relationship, communication, transparent vision, and so on and so on. So every day, for years, in Pro Progressio, we start with our team meetings. So every day we spend 15 minutes every morning talking to the whole our team. What is the plan for today? How was yesterday? And what's the plan for the next coming days and weeks? And we repeat it day by day. So this keeps the team, first of all, knowing where we are as a business, knowing what everybody does within these structures, and what are our goals for the short and the long-term goals which we want to achieve. So this is what we do, and I strongly believe that having this practice, this is helping us to keep everybody not surprised if something is happening, because we are just prepared for anything what the company is doing and where we are at a certain moment of time.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter how big the organization is, or your part of the organization is. The leader of the team, no matter how big or small it is, if that leader has the intention of doing what you've just described, of communicating and so on, then it can be done irrespective of the size of the organization. I mean, sometimes you get this. I've heard this. Well, our organization is too big for our leaders to give us all the details. Well, actually, I'm not sure I agree with that. You can cascade messages down even the largest organizations, and there are ways of getting that message out there. So, okay, thank you. Yeah, that's so important. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about was, you have an international clientele. This is very obvious. at your Follow the Leaders event, which you were kind enough to invite me to. We had corporate representatives from the US, from Germany, from other countries in the region. So how do you talk to people from different countries? Do you find that there is a different attitudes towards leadership and what they're looking for? And then once you've identified that, how do you engage with them?
I think that answering to your question, approach to leadership probably is very close to each other and similar, but there are differences in the cultures of a certain countries or regions. And of course, we are all people, and sometimes we do have in mind this, how we do behave in Poland and how do people behave in, I don't know, let's say in LATAM region or in Asia or in Africa, what are the relations between the families or companies and so on and so on. So this you need to have in mind, just not to offend anyone, yeah, because you may say something or behave somehow which may not put another person in comfortable situation. So this is something what it's good to be prepared if something what we think is great to do may not be great to do somewhere else. But when it comes to the leadership, when it comes to this business communication and to the way how the companies are being run, probably they are run very similarly all around the world. There are similar activities which you need to follow. There are similar structures within the organizations, how they are being built. Some of them do their job well, some the others a little bit worse, but basically the rules are the same. Even if the market is changing, I still remember my studies in the late 90s where everything was described in the great books which we were having on the studies. The same books are still on the shelves of the university libraries, and people are using them because those were good business canons. Those were good advices which we could get out of them. And now answering to your question, how to start those relations, how to build them, how do I do it? So first of all, now we live in such a times that you can open your LinkedIn, for example, and you can reach any person from the world. And if you really want to build a relationship with a certain person or a certain company, this is really, really easy to do so. But it is not like that, hello, I am Wiktor, I am selling golden ideas. But it's, again, starting like, look, I can see your business is in here. I would like to get a little bit more information about who you are, what you do, and so on and so on. Or I am searching for some data, some information, some contacts in that and that area. Can you help me with that? And you might be surprised how people are open or on really exchanging data, information, and so on and so on. So it is not a matter of selling something. It is a matter of building trust, building relationship, and then step by step you can create much stronger relationship with certain people or companies. Yes, we do it for the last 13 years. And yes, we started from the day one to open the doors to various organizations and various people. And yes, this is why this year, and the same was last year and 2 years ago, we had the pleasure to host on our international event guests from all over the world. We had people from both Americas, from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, and all of the relations were done in similar way. So we either contacted them via online or we met at some business events. This is another good tip, that if every month there are some business events, and sometimes we do attend them, sometimes not. But when you attend an event, just use it to build the relationship. You can talk during the coffee breaks. You can go to the speaker just after the speaker finishes talking about this, what this person was sharing, and you can just start building relationship. And then a week after, a month after, half a year after, just come back to this situation and just rely on that, build on this, and so on and so on. So this is not difficult. It was difficult 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when there was no internet, there were no social media, there were much less events, and so on and so on. And people were still growing their companies and growing their businesses. Yeah. Now it is much, much easier. Sometimes I can say that probably it's too much easier. But if you know exactly what you want to do, if you really know your product, your service, your company, your goals, your ethics of work, this is something what you can really easily use and just move forward.
again, wonderful advice and very practical advice. So it comes down to the fact that it's all about human connecting with another human. It's about knowing, liking, and trusting, and that only comes after you've reached out, started on the path to developing a relationship with them, and then other things, the conversation becomes more constructive, perhaps, more solid over time. I also like the fact that leadership is leadership wherever you are in the world. I think that's important to know. But cultural sensitivity is something that we need to be aware of, and I think it's also something we need to remember generally. I mean, I've certainly come across circumstances where this sensitivity hasn't existed, and it's kind of destroyed what would otherwise have been a very valuable relationship. Now, I know you have some plans to extend Pro Progressio even further than you already have. Can you tell us a little bit about those, Wiktor?
Sure. So first of all, of course, we want to grow this what we already have. So we want to focus on our platform, which is focus on business as the web platform, and we are still searching the content, not only local but also global one. We believe that this is a very well designed web platform, so we are inviting people from all of the world just to start building relationship with us, and we do it in two models. One of them is free of charge. Whenever we can share some good really business advices, analysis, and so on, such content is always very welcome to be shared on our web pages. And the second one is purely business, so wherever somebody wants to use our platform just to support their marketing activities or exposure activities, then we are a good platform to do so. So this is something what we do, and we want to extend it to another countries and other parts of the world, just not to limit it to this scope of data and information which we already share. And we already do have content not only from Poland but also from some other countries, and this is certainly going to grow. Whenever it comes to our other activities, for example, the Pro Progressio Club, the club is in such a structure that wherever you are in the world, you can join it, because a number of tools which we are using, another of initiatives which we are undertaking within the club, don't have borders. Yeah, you can build them across the borders. Of course, we are now in Poland, and we have focused a lot to create this community based on Poland. But now we are in such a model that we want to invite companies from other countries to join this initiative, to build those business bridges between the countries, between the companies, between people, between leaders, and so on and so on. So those are the steps which we want to go. And there is also another activity which we have just launched, which are the market reports. So something a little bit new, because we are having access to a lot of data from the market, and now we want to use this data to show it to the world. So we have started the initiative about the reports focused on certain cities, but this project is going to develop, focusing not only on the cities but also on the services, on the products, on the business lines, and so on and so on. And we will certainly share this information once the first of such reports is going to be released.
Hugely expansive business sharing and relationship building activities, Wiktor. So what kinds of organizations are you looking for? Is there some kind of group? Is it only BPOs or shared service organizations, or is it anyone that has an interest in developing international relationships?
This is a good question, and I can say that most of people are asking those questions because of our origins. The origins of Pro Progressio were purely focused on BPO and shared services. This is how we started. This is how the project was being developed. But within already the last few years, this has changed, and there is one common thing which actually companies do have when joining us, when starting doing business with us. And this common point is B2B. But it doesn't matter if this is shared service or a BPO company. It can be a company providing legal services, HR services, real estate advisory, consulting, or whatever else is done in the B2B relations. So if there is an organization who is either offering products or services in B2B model, doesn't matter where this company is located around the world, this is we believe strongly that we are a good environment to be in, because we do have either partners for benchmarking, or we have partners for offering products, or we have partners for buying the products or services. So actually this environment for B2B organizations is absolutely a good place to be. And the second group, which we are interested in building relationships and also inviting to our business club, are the cities. We do have very strong relations with the Polish cities, where we do understand how do they work, what kind of foreign investments do they need, what is their offer for investors. And we want to gather more and more information about the business attractiveness in other countries as well. So we are very open to support the communication of business attractiveness for foreign direct investments to any city which is located worldwide. And if the city believes that this what we do, the tools which we have, the reports, the contacts, the relations is valuable for such location, we are very open to start working with such location.
Amazing. So it's basically any organization that is in the B2B marketplace, and also cities anywhere around the world that want to attract investors into their environment. It's absolutely fascinating. So if I belong to one of those groups, how would I find out more about you, Wiktor, about Pro Progressio, about the services? Where would I look?
This is very straightforward. So first of all, I invite everybody to the webpage ProProgressio.com. This Progressio is with double S, so ProProgressio.com, and this is the webpage where you can find information about everything what we do, about the club, about the media, about the events, about who we are, who is in the club, and so on and so on. So it's very, very transparent webpage. And secondly, I already mentioned that I am present on LinkedIn, and I am using LinkedIn to build new relations, so people can also create those relations with myself. And here is one tip. I am the only one, Wiktor Doktor, on LinkedIn. So there is no possibility to find other person with the same name and the surname on LinkedIn. So it's very easy to find me.
So Wiktor Doktor, Wiktor Doktor. Is that correct?
Yes. Okay. That's correct.
Excellent. No, that's wonderful. And of course, we'll be putting those details down underneath this video. So that's been amazing. Sharing your journey and where you are today and how you started. But also, as I said at the beginning, the aim of our conversation, or one of the aims, is to open the doors perhaps to entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs who are thinking of taking that leap and bringing to life something that they've imagined, something that they've visualized, and you've contributed hugely to that conversation. So thank you very much. But I want to end, please, if I may, Wiktor, with some guidance, some main things that you would like entrepreneurs to bear in mind to help them along the way.
Thank you very much for this conversation, and I will at the end come back to the very beginning. So first of all, believe in this what you want to do, but ask questions. So just not to force some ideas which are having no proof of concept, which are not verified with your either closer or further business relationships. So just do it, verify whatever you want to do. Ask questions. People are this time forgetting about asking questions, and this is very, very simple. Ask more questions than just share this what you do, and I believe that this could create you a full picture of this. If your project, your idea is successful, that's how startups are doing. This is how the big businesses are being grown. So believe in that, talk to people, don't be afraid of building new relationships sometimes with people who you may think, okay, they are unreachable. No, everybody is reachable in sooner or later, and this is quite maybe not easy, but it is to be done. So if you really know what you want to achieve, just follow your idea. Don't give up too soon. And I think this is the last idea which I can share, because I have met a lot of people who after a few months gave up their ideas. No, it takes time, especially if something is completely new and you need to verify it closely with the market. So don't give up too soon, ask questions, and I'm more than sure that this will create you a clear picture of where you can be in a year or 2 years from now.
Great advice. So don't give up, be persistent, reach out to people and ask lots of questions. That's wonderful. Wiktor, thank you very much for taking time out. I know you have an extremely busy schedule, but it was so valuable that you shared your experience with our audience. Have a wonderful day, and we can give my warmest regards to your team.
Thank you very much, Ashim.
My pleasure, as always.